It took me a while to realise that I loved painting in sketchbooks more than I loved painting on loose sheets. Once I bought my first one, I was hooked. But it didn't take long for something else to creep in as well. Before I knew it, every spread had become a finished painting. Every page had to be beautiful, and every sketchbook had to become a masterpiece. And that's when I realised I'd made a huge mistake. What happens when you stop treating your sketchbook like a place to explore and start treating it like a gallery? I've always loved books, fairy tale books especially, the kind where every page feels like you're stepping into another world, a world of dreams and magic. So when I discovered sketchbooks, I thought I'd found the perfect place to create one of my own, a place where I could paint, experiment, improve my skills, and slowly fill page after page with beautiful illustrations. I imagined shelves full of sketchbooks, each one a little fairy tale that I could return to years later, pass it on to my children, my grandchildren. And for a while, that's exactly what I did. I loved painting these spreads. But after some time, something started to feel off. I couldn't understand it. How could I be losing the joy of painting when I knew that I really loved watercolour so much? It took me much longer to realise that the problem wasn't watercolour at all, and it wasn't sketchbooks either. Perfectionism had sneakily followed me into those precious pages, and before I knew it, every spread had become a performance instead of a place to explore, to let go. I couldn't just sit down and paint for half an hour or an hour because these paintings took much longer, and sometimes painting felt heavy because I wasn't always in the mood to be at my desk for hours or even over the span of a couple of days if the painting was more intricate. Every page needed a plan, every composition had to work, and if I got a bad page, an ugly page, I felt like the whole sketchbook was ruined and fit for the bin. I kind of felt angry at myself, as ridiculous as it may sound, but I know that probably at least some of you will resonate with this. The expectations we put on ourselves are always so high. What we want from ourselves at the beginning of our artistic journey or in the first year or so of it is very different from what we will eventually discover we truly want from our practice. We become one with it, and that means that all aspects of ourselves get poured into it. And this is especially true for those of us who dedicate ourselves to art with passion and a certain regularity. Not only with the intent to grow, but with a desire to express and create a resemblance of the most secret parts that reside within ourselves. Art can get raw and emotional. It can go quick, it can go slow. You can hate something you create and fall in love with it 2 months later. It is one of the most non-linear paths that I can think of. It's a relationship with many facets. And as much as I loved most of my watercolour spreads, there was something that felt like I was pretending. I was only showing performance, I was only showing the shell, and I most certainly wasn't digging deep enough. When we start making art, there is always that part of us that thinks about showcasing it. If there weren't, then we wouldn't feel bad about every botched drawing or painting. We have a hard time encouraging ourselves and only see the faults among the growth. Very often we want our work to look like someone else's. That's where almost all of us start out, and we're disappointed when, of course, that doesn't happen. Every polished reel or time lapse on social media gives the illusion that that piece came together so spontaneously and so fast that it must be easy to replicate something similar. It doesn't show all the work behind it, the journey, the struggles and the self-doubt, the practice, the mistakes, too much water, too little water, that drawing that looks too wonky. But that is exactly where the growth happens, where the style takes shape, where our true artistic nature starts to shine through in ways we never would have expected. And that is exactly why I said goodbye to my dream sketchbooks, by closing the door on perfectionism and opening another one that took me to the other end of the spectrum, where scribbles and sketches are created standing on the road, on top of a hill, sketching with whatever you have in your backpack. I gradually moved away from those perfect pages by creating and starting sketchbooks that in some cases had unfinished paintings or tests, and others that almost contained rough scribbles, the temporary vision of the reality in front of me, the feeling of a specific moment. Drawing helped me to loosen up a lot because I started time-limited sketching, which has been a great tool to improve my skills, and then I automatically gave myself permission to be myself in these pages. And I don't even care if anyone sees the not so pretty ones. I am past that. I feel I have become a much more confident artist because I took a step back from perfectionism and the fairy tale like sketchbooks. And that is not to say that I never go back to them again, of course, but it means that I have poured all aspects of myself into my art. Frustration, the desire to portray something beautiful, and also the chance to just spend a few minutes capturing a gesture, a shadow, a cluster of leaves, or trying to draw or paint something that I'm not familiar with. I look at shapes, I distort them, I draw or paint quick to capture the moment. I allow myself to draw with other mediums, though watercolour remains my favourite one, but I embrace everything that comes my way because I want to document not only that fairy tale world that lived inside me as a child and still lives inside me in a very nostalgic way, but I want to document the learning experience as well, which opens new doorways to a style that keeps changing, to discoveries, to funny pages, and to ones that will bring back memories I would have lost in time and carry more feeling and emotion than photographs ever would. And here are the rough pages I never would have dreamed of showing someone in the first year of my art journey, especially at the beginning when I started using watercolour and drawing again, and that I now consider just as precious as my first dreamy sketchbook. They inspire my paintings, my more polished ones. They teach me about poses and colour palettes, and I love them in their sweet imperfection. I hope this video helped you or inspired you in some way. If you'd like to join my online Patreon community to co-sketch and have live and recorded painting sessions, we are an all-level welcoming art community. My new class is also now live on Skillshare, and I will leave the links to all these things below this video in the description box. Bye for now.